Good evening from the Circle City, the home of the Indiana Pacers and the Indiana Fever, Gainbridge Fieldhouse on a beautiful Saturday in June for the first of two tonight. From the world's greatest basketball arena tonight, it's the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Game, and first up, the ladies take center stage. Tonight's contest is brought to you by Banks & Brower. For every hour, there's Banks & Brower. And Brady Laurie, your criminal defense and personal injury trial lawyer. By Duke Homes, many promise, we deliver. By the Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know. The Fountain Room, voted one of America's 50 most beautiful restaurants. The Lawrence Township Schools, learn more about Lawrence Excellence at ltschools.org. By 9 Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet, who knew? And by Unranked Hoops, Indy's first Euro-style basketball academy. Check out unrnkd.com. Joined alongside Kristen Hazley and the rest of our ISC Sports Network crew, my name is Rick Johnston. And Kristen, we have the best seat in the house, and Indiana trying to avenge last night's buzzer-beating loss in the Bluegrass State. They fell 59-57 thanks to that young lady right there, Brianna Wilkins, the hero last night for the folks from Kentucky.
Yeah, Brianna Wilkins with the buzzer beater at the end to break the hearts of the Hoosiers. But I tell you what, they are now back in their hometown here in Gainbridge, and they are ready to take care of business. We looked at the matchup last night, and I think there's a lot of room for both teams to kind of switch the game plan coming into tonight.
Look at last night, Indiana shot just 55% from the free throw line. They were 11 of 20. Kentucky was led by Brianna Wilkins, who had 21 points. And their Miss Basketball, who's going to be calling the Hoosier State home here soon. The future Indiana Hoosier, and Ashlyn James had 22 points. They were the main two stars last night for Kentucky. If you're Indiana, how do you switch things back in your favor?
Well, I think first of all, you look at the players like Grayson Gilliard and Lola Lampley and see that they didn't have the best game last night. For players of that caliber, it's very rare that they're going to have 2 off nights in a row. I expect Gilliard to be aggressive from the start. This is her home court. She just won a state championship here with her undefeated Center Grove Trojans, and I think she'll be aggressive from the jump tonight.
Let's turn it over to public address announcer Chad Nickum for today's pregame festivities.
Pacers and Indiana Fever. We invite you to please rise and honor our country as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the pumps bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Jeff. Now, fans, let's meet the rosters from these two great states. Now, let's meet the Kentucky All-Stars. For the Kentucky All-Stars, the Kentucky Games Director, Scott Chalk. Head coach of the Kentucky All-Stars, Michael Robertson of Owensboro Catholic. Assistant coaches, Chad Mormon of Breckenridge County. Jill Jones of Owensboro Catholic. And Nick Jones of Owensboro Catholic. And now let's meet tonight's roster for the Kentucky All-Stars. Standing 5'9" and going to Illinois State from South Oldham, number 15, Madison Young. Standing 5'9" and headed to Robert Morris from George Rogers Clark, number 14, T. Yeast. At 6'3", she is on her way to Campbellsville from Edmonson County, number 13, Carrie Ann Williams. Standing 5'10" and going to Marshall from Louisville Sacred Heart, number 12, Brianna Wilkins. At 5'11", headed to Thomas More from Simon Kitten, number 11, Haley Webb. Standing 5'7", on her way to Southeastern from Bullitt East, number 10, Anna Tonelli. She stands 6'2" and headed to Chattanooga State from North Hardin, number 9, Destiny Scott. She's 5'10" and headed to Western Kentucky from Louisville Assumption, number 8, Ava Moore. 5'8" and going to Southern Indiana from Callaway County, number 6, Jaden Coke. She's 5'10" and headed to the Cumberlands from Rockcastle County, number 5, Taylor King. 5'10" and on her way to Western Illinois from Ryle, number 4, Jalen Jones. Standing 5'11" and going to Bellarmine from Notre Dame Academy, number 3, Emma Holtzapfel. 5'6" and headed to Kentucky State from Henderson County, wearing number 2, Atalia Green. And standing 5'7", next year she will be an Indiana Hoosier. From Louisville Assumption, the 2026 Miss Basketball for the state of Kentucky, number 1, Ashlyn James. Also, for the Kentucky All-Stars, Associate Head Coach from Ryle High School, Katie Hates.
So obviously we just met the Senior All-Stars for Kentucky, an intro video being played here for the Indiana All-Stars. They're trying to snap a 3-game losing streak to their rivals from the South. They split the 16 meetings heading in to this summer's doubleheader. Indiana leads the all-time series 55-44. And again, we mentioned Kentucky winning both games last year, including a double overtime thriller here in Indy. Let's meet the 2026 Indiana All-Stars.
All-Stars! Your Indiana All-Star Director, Mike Broughton. Indiana All-Star Team Coordinator from Pike, Sabrina Davis-Williams. Dr. Kathy Reese and our All-Star trainers, Dave Wyckoff and Brooke Taylor. Managers, Keaton Miller and Jack Broughton. The head coach of your Indiana All-Stars from Lake Central High School, Joe Hoppenthal. Assistant coaches from Columbia City, Amy Shearer. And from Lagodi, Brian Smith. And now, let's meet tonight's roster for your Indiana All-Stars. Standing 5'7" and headed to Northern Illinois to be a Husky, from Marquette Catholic, number 13, Lania Davis. Standing 6'1" and also going to Northern Illinois to be a Husky, from Pike High School, the red doubles, number 12, Kamari Booker. She stands 6'3", on her way to Kansas to be a Jayhawk. From Silver Creek, number 11, Brooklyn Red. Standing 6 foot and staying right here in Indianapolis to be a Butler Bulldog. From lapel, number 10, Lanaya Willard. Standing 5'10" and going to Louisville to be a Cardinal from Homestead, number 9, Maya Epps. Standing 5'8", also headed to the MAC Conference, on her way to Miami of Ohio to be a Red Hawk from Warsaw, number 8, Brooke Zartman. Standing 5'9" and headed to Indiana Wesleyan to play for the Wildcats from Warsaw, number 7, Jocelyn Bricker. Also headed to Indiana Wesleyan, she's 5'10" and will be a Wildcat next year from Norwell, number 6, Vanessa Rossworth. 5'10" and headed to Ball State University to play for the Cardinals from Valparaiso, number 5, Lily Barnes. Standing 6 foot and headed to Kansas to be a Jayhawk from Jay County, number 4, Molly Ernsters. Standing 5'8" and headed to Oregon to play for the Ducks just like her mother from Hamilton Southeastern, number 3, Kennedy Holman. Standing 6'2", on her way to the SEC to play for LSU and the Tigers from Lawrence Central, number 2, Lola Lampley. And at 5'11", she is headed to Stanford to be a Cardinal from Center Grove, your 2026 Miss Basketball for the state of Indiana, number 1, Grayson Gilliard. And now, to commemorate this historical game, the Indiana All-Stars will now present a gift to their counterparts from Kentucky.
So the exchange of gifts and the traditional shaking of hands. You see the two directors of both Indiana and Kentucky All-Stars. Indiana's Mike Broughton on the right, Scott Chalk, the director, on the left. There is these customary, the pregame handshake before the matchup. And if you stick around, as you should be sticking around for our boys game, instead of the national anthem, they'll be singing My Old Kentucky Home and Back Home Again in Indiana before those two games tonight. But Kristen, as we see, look at our officials, our game ball being presented tonight, 51st year of this series between the Indiana and Kentucky girls. Obviously did not play in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but you look for Indiana trying to snap this 3-game losing streak. And when we talked with Kentucky head coach Michael Robertson, he was not shy. He said, we knew that we got our butt kicked last year in the junior game, and they came out with a mission to try to continue Kentucky's dominance. They go for a back-to-back sweep here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Roberts was spot on. He told us, everything about his team pretty much. He said, Willis can score at will, all of these different things. But you said it, Indiana looking for a big bounce back tonight. I think it's going to come from Gilliard. I think it's going to come from Lampley. You've got to get downhill. Zartman had a great game yesterday, as did Wren, who's starting tonight as well. I think it's a bigger lineup. Indiana's going to look to try and take it to Kentucky early on.
One change in the starting lineup from last night for Indiana. Molly Ernstich, you see her walking across your screen right there. Starting for Indiana along with Lily Barnes, 5 and 4 in white. They came off the bench an evening ago. Also Indiana without KK Holman, who was out sick, will be going to Oregon coming up in the fall. Opening tap knocked out of bounds by T. East from George Rogers Clark High School. It'll be Indiana with the first possession. They are in the home whites. College rules for both the girls and the boys games. So 4 10-minute quarters. There will be a officials timeout after the 5-minute mark as well.
Yeah, good chance for these girls to start playing some college rules, get some of that College Fitness runs in for him.
Wren on the miss. Gilliard back up and gets the home court roll. Indiana's Miss Basketball on the board first.
Well, it seems like just yesterday we were watching her defeat Norwell and Vanessa Rossworm for the state championship, and she's picking up right where she left off on this court.
Gilliard last night held to just one field goal. Lampley jump in the passing lane, intercepts the pass from Ashlyn James. One person to beat back. Lampley won't get it, but it's a foul on T. Yeast, and free throws coming from the former LC Bear.
Really an uncharacteristic performance for both Lola Lampley and Grayson Gilliard last night. They went a combined 6 for 34, which is just unheard of for those two impressive scorers.
Yeah, just 9 points for Lola an evening ago. Follows her sister Jayla, who was an all-star a year ago. Just now she's transferring from the SCC to going to be in Rutgers a year from now. So there's trading Lampley's down in the SEC.
Apparently. Maybe we'll get him in here for the Big Ten.
If you've been watching our coverage on ISC this week, you've seen her younger brothers showing out for the Junior All-Stars, two of the top players over at Pike High School. Holtzapfel going to Bellarmine, off to James. Kick out to last night's hero, Wilkins. Jump shot no good. And it's Barnes looking to push the issue. Indiana did a lot of this last night off of misses and turnovers. Barnes no good, another offensive rebound, and free throws upcoming for Grayson Gilliard.
Yeah, you like to see Grayson Gilliard getting involved early on, down on the block. A good rebound there, and just does a nice job of powering back up, creates the contact, and she's looking really comfortable early on.
Gilliard shot 75% this season for Center Grove. As Kristen mentioned, led the Trojans to an undefeated season and a state championship right here on this floor. Played the first 2 seasons of her high school career at Munster. And Gilliard's already matched her entire output from last night's game. She's got 4, and it's a 5-0 jaunt here for the team from the Hoosier State.
Yeah, and you felt like last night watching that game, Indiana just never got into a good offensive rhythm. Credit Kentucky, they did the things right. They pushed the ball, they made them uncomfortable on the ball, and just made things difficult for the Hoosiers.
James trying to shake away from Barnes, gets the start tonight. Yeast, 4 on the timer. Wren defends. Big shot block from Brooklyn Wren.
She had 3 big blocks last night, and you take a look, just doing a nice job defending. No foul there, and just follows the ball. Well done by Brooklyn Wren there.
Just 1 second to get a shot away. Yeast catches, and that's a shot clock violation. A much better start here for Indiana back on the home floor.
Absolutely. You look at what happened last night, and one thing that Coach Robertson pointed out, he didn't want his Kentucky team to worry too much about turnovers. Well, last night Indiana had 22, and that was, again, another part of that downfall.
Lampley in the post against Wilkins. Looking to reverse. Going to finish through contact. And Carrie Ann Williams, the tallest player on the Kentucky roster at 6'3", chases that one down. She's going to the NAIA's Campbellsville. Williams against Wren. Wilkins. Mid-range jump shot spins off there for Williams. A quiet start here for Kentucky. Wren puts it on the deck, goes right through James, and that's an easy call, charging against Brooklyn Wren.
Well, early on, Kentucky might not be scoring, but James is picking up right where she left off, doing a nice job of playing defense in the post and then switching it on, trying to push the ball forward, just not able to find the bottom of the net yet.
First foul against Indiana, as Taylor King enters here for Kentucky, along with Italia Green, who's standing there 2 in blue in the corner. Kentucky still looking for their first points here, almost 3 minutes into the first quarter. Ernst is defending. Nice head fake by King. Got Lampley to fly by, and King puts it in for 2.
A nice finish there by Taylor King. Really an all-around scorer. Averaged 19 points per game this past season.
Gilliard trying to answer on the other end. Good defense by her Miss Basketball counterpart, James, for Kentucky. Barnes picks her up in transition. Lampley using that length, trying to slow down Wilkins, the hero from an evening ago. James was so shifty last night, leading scorer at 22 points. Pulls up from the mid-range, and you can see why the folks in Bloomington are happy to get one in blue.
That was automatic there from Ashlyn James. Beautiful little pull-up, decisive shot, great look.
Gilliard trying to deal with Green. Wren, not known for her three-point shooting, gives off to Barnes. Cut off on the attack by Yeast. Nice off-ball cut, Gilliard, and she's got a game-high 6.
Now early on, a lot better movement off the ball from the Indiana All-Stars. Grayson Gilliard that time, nice job cutting through the lane, and a great pass there from Lily Barnes.
Green on the edge, Ernstis defends. Indiana in the man-to-man defense, they did deploy a 1-3-1 zone that gave Kentucky fits last night.
Pulled a little bit of a Norwell card there, the 1-3-1 trap zone. Worked there for a bit, got him back in the game last night.
Another shot clock violation here for the Kentucky offense. Let's get a look at Michael Robertson, head coach of the Kentucky All-Stars, Owensboro Catholic, his high school throughout the year. Indiana going to the bench for the first time tonight. Kennedy Holman along with Kamari Booker in here for those in white.
Yeah, good to see KK Holman out on the court.
Good attack from Lampley off the pitch out from Booker. Madison Young came in during the stoppage as well for Kentucky.
And there's so many cool stories on both sides. You take a look here at the drive by Lampley and just the power that she has going into the lane. Easy to see why she's as dominant as she is. Lampley, we talked about her family. Gilliard, another well-connected athletic family. And you look at KK Holman, originally a Florida commit, decided that wasn't quite the right fit, ended up recommitting to Oregon, her mom's alma mater, and is looking forward to hopefully continuing the tradition there for the Ducks.
1 for 2 for Lampley. King rolls it in from the right side, her second bucket. Kentucky back to within 2. Gilliard drives, hangs, couldn't get the roll, and now King on the breakout here for Kentucky. Waiting for reinforcements. A lot of the offense ran through this young lady last night in James. Booker trying to use her size and strength to slow her down. King against Holman. Nice cut on the baseline. Reverse layup is home for Madison Young.
Get our first look there at Madison Young, the Illinois State commit. Again, another 19-point scorer.
Ernstis can't find it from 3. Three-point shooting was a struggle last night for Indiana, but Lampley able to put it in for her first field goal.
Another thing that just makes her dangerous, the offensive boards. Averages around 8 rebounds per night. A good chunk of those are putbacks on the O boards.
Lampley switching on King after the screen set by Wilkins. Catch and shoot. Off the glass there from Green. Ernstis trying to sneak by the Kentucky defense, but Green makes up for the errant shot with a steal. Kick ball on Holman. And with 4:10 remaining in the opening quarter, that brings us to our media timeout. Indiana with a 2-point lead, trying to snap their 3-game losing streak to their foes from Kentucky. You're watching the Indiana-Kentucky Girls All-Star Game on the ISC Sports Network.
NISAR is very focused on customer and member care, focused on making sure that however we communicate with the member and customer is how they want to communicate.
You know, sometimes we're the one person that they speak to in a day, and you want that conversation to be happy and pleasant.
As a nonprofit co-op, we're focused on providing the best service we can for our members.
9-Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
In Lawrence Township, the choice is clear. From NACE-accredited early learning centers to comprehensive elementary programming built to support literacy, language, community, and STEM. A 96% graduation rate, with students engaged in pathways preparing for success in college, career, or military service. 50 state championships and 7 national titles. In the classroom, the court, or on the stage, we produce winners. The choice is clear. Make LT your district of destination.
If your son or daughter is into hoops, you need to know Unranked. Unranked is Indy's first Euro Academy. Real training, real development from the best trainers and coaches. Visit Unranked at unrnkd.com. Unranked, a Nike grassroots basketball program.
Tonight's game brought to you by the Milan 54 Museum. The Milan 54 Hoosiers Museum houses artifacts and memorabilia of the Milan Muncie Central 1954 championship game, and also the largest single collection of items from the movie Hoosiers. And on November 7th, the Milan High School Gym will play host to a special 40th anniversary celebration of the movie, complete with a Q&A featuring cast members as well as Angelo Pizzo and David Anspaugh. You can get your tickets by scanning the QR code on your screen. For more information, visit www.milan54.org. Kamari Booker at the bottom of your screen. Lanaya Wills, who will be going to Butler, checking in for the first time. She had the start last night. As we mentioned, Indiana shuffling their starting lineup just a little bit here. Vanessa Rossworm has also entered here along with her future college teammate at Indiana Wesleyan, Jocelyn Bricker. Steal here by Indiana and Booker. Bricker, a deadly three-point shooter at 53% during the high school year, but Rossworm throws it into traffic and it's intercepted by Wilkins. All the deck goes green. Played just 15 minutes last night. Wilkins a long triple try. Right into the arms of Booker.
Kamari Booker early on doing a nice job controlling the boards and the paint defensively.
Kentucky 0 of 3 from three-point range to start. Stop and pop. Bricker wide open, and we mentioned 53% for Warsaw from out there this year.
Jocelyn Bricker is no stranger to sinking threes in this building. 2 years ago, Warsaw was the state runners-up, and she led the team there with a hot shooting examples.
King answers with a triple of her own, and she's got an early 7 after missing all 3 of her shots last night. Kentucky back to within a pair. Bricker had just 4 rebounds, and then Rossworm a miscommunication with one of her new teammates, and then bounced into the Kentucky bench.
Yeah, second turnover early on by Rossworm here. Really just needs to settle in there. Obviously, different players. You're still trying to find that chemistry. She just needs to calm down, control the ball, and take care of it.
Jalen Jones will be going to Western Illinois, and Anna Tonelli will be going to Southeastern NAI school down in Florida. Both enter here for Kentucky in the road blue. James, a catch-and-shoot triple, and she banked it in off the window. And I guess if you're going to start going to a school in Indiana, you can start getting breaks here in the Hoosier State.
Might as well. The Kentucky Miss Basketball opening the bank.
First lead of the night for Kentucky. Holman's 3 didn't go. Rossworm had it for a moment, then intercepted, and numbers the other way for Kentucky. No-look dish, and then off the fingertips of Jones as James tried to get a little fancy.
Early on, you can just see Ashlyn James. James runs everything. It all runs through her. She's going to be the headliner. Last night, the 22 points, 3 from 6 for three-pointers, 9 rebounds as well. So she just takes care of every aspect of the game.
Barely left the floor last night for the folks in the Bluegrass. Bricker got into the body. Booker trying to fight for it, but it's Bricker that comes out of the scrum with it. Zartma was Indiana's best three-point shooter last night. Booker going to work, has the defender pinned inside. Couldn't get it to go, but nice track there from Wills, and she'll draw 2 free throws. That's the 4th one on Kentucky.
It's just a great heads-up play here by Wills to dive in, grabs the board before they can even get a body on her, creates the contact, and that's one of the reasons she'll be playing at Butler next year. Really just in control when it comes to moving around the paint as well as that mid-range shot.
Tonelli, the guilty party. She played just 2 minutes last night, so seeing an expanded role here early on in the first quarter. Will's the career leader in both points and career rebounds at LaPel High School. Had over 2,000 points, over 1,200 boards. Also shot the free throw really well this year at 82%.
I don't think it'd be a stretch to say that she's one of the most explosive scorers we've seen in Indiana high school basketball this year.
Had just 4 last night, but puts Indiana back in front here with about 100 seconds remaining in our first quarter. James got around Davis, too much on it, and now Davis will start the break for Indiana. Davis had Wren down low, stops with a long 2. Good box out by Kentucky. Jalen Jones with it here for Kentucky. King at the point, didn't want to go inside against a 6'3" Wren. And now it's Davis's turn to try to slow down the Kentucky Miss basketball and James, who lost it on the way up but draws the reach and foul.
And early on, James just being aggressive, attacking the paint. Doesn't matter how many defenders are in front of her. Very shifty as you see her here, just making her way into the paint. Ooh, tough one. Might have gone off on her, but again, it's just the ability to be agile in the paint, taking on different defenders of all different sizes. That's what makes her so effective.
James, a top 70 player in the country, depending on which recruiting service you subscribe to. She's got an early 6 points. As Kristen mentioned earlier, had 22 points to lead the way for the Kentucky All-Stars last night. Swept both games of this series a season ago, including a 106-103 double overtime barn burner here inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Yeah, we've definitely been competitive the last couple years here, and that's what you love to see in the rivalry.
Look at the pretty spin move from Brooklyn Wren, and she has an opportunity at the and one.
Nice work here, just outside the perimeter, spins her defender back towards the middle. Great awareness of where she's at on the court to just finish that lay-in. Nice work by Brooklyn Wren. She is really making herself known here tonight.
One of two future Kansas Jayhawks on the Indiana roster, along with Molly Ernstis. Offensive rebound, put back, didn't drop for Wills. Wren takes on 3 different Kentucky players, and she'll make the walk back to the stripe.
Taking on 3 Kentucky players, and I think getting 3 rebounds on the same play there. And like you said, you see why the Jayhawk is so sought after. Just a pogo stick when it comes to being down in the post, and just great awareness and composure in that block.
And Wren will get the bounce. She's got 4. It's 19-15 the lead here for Indiana. Wilkins, too much, got her own miss. Fighting for space. Pivots out. This is Jaden Koch in the corner. Knifes her way in, and she will go to the line with about 37 and change left to play here.
Good dish there by James. She finds the open Cook in the corner. That's the Southern Indiana commit. You'll see her back here in the Hoosier State. And just a nice job of making her way to the lane, finding some contact.
Cook played just 4 minutes last night. Scored 3 points on a 3-point basket. Threes were hard to come by for both teams last night. Kentucky 32%, Indiana was at just 26. Rebound here by Brickers. Koch misses both. About 7 seconds between game and shot clock. Remember, both teams playing with college rules, so we have a shot clock here tonight. Zartman's 3 off the iron and out of bounds and going back to Kentucky.
The 3 was a little off there, but how about the cross-court dime there from Lanai Davis? Just does a nice job of kicking it back out for the open look. Great court awareness there.
Shot clock goes dark. Kentucky led briefly here in this first quarter at 14-13. Since then, it's been all Indiana. Backcourt pressure here from Will. Steals it right away from Koch and goes in for 2.
Here comes that 1-3-1 again. Really going to challenge James here to handle the ball.
Wilkinson steps across the timeline thanks to the double team of Bricker and Wills. At one point, 2 future college teammates, but Bricker flipped her commitment from Butler to Indiana Wesleyan a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's another fun interest story, you know, and something that I think is important for all athletes. Play where you're comfortable. Play where you feel like you're wanted and needed.
Zartman beat the horn, but hits it off the back of the iron. Good close for Indiana after dropping a heartbreaker last night. They lead by 6 here after 1 against Kentucky inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse. You're watching the 2026 Indiana-Kentucky Girls Basketball All-Star Game on the ISC Sports Network.
Man, if I beat Braden Smith and Pig, he's never going to live that down.
Dude, don't get your hopes up. Hey, Adam, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry, guys. Got to take this. All right, Braden, go easy on me.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
I guess for every hour, there really is Banks and Brower.
Whether it's criminal, family, personal injury, or immigration law.
You can call them anytime. Sorry, got a call.
Sorry.
If your son or daughter is into hoops, you need to know Unranked. Unranked is Indy's first Euro Academy. Real training, real development from the best trainers and coaches. Visit Unranked at unrnkd.com. Unranked, a Nike grassroots basketball program.
As a member-owned cooperative, 9-Star serves our members who are also our friends, our neighbors, our family. You know, we take that role very seriously. We want to provide that customer with the same experience and customer service that we would expect ourselves.
9-Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
In Lawrence Township, the choice is clear. From NACE accredited early learning centers to comprehensive elementary programming built to support literacy, language, community, and STEM. A 96% graduation rate, with students engaged in pathways preparing for success in college, career, or military service. 50 state championships and 7 national titles. In the classroom, the court, or on the stage, we produce winners. The choice is clear. Make LT your district of destination.
Tonight's game brought to you by Duke Homes. We'd like to congratulate Center Grove's Grayson Gilliard on leading the Trojans to a state championship and winning Indiana's Miss Basketball. At Duke Homes, we've been creating one-of-a-kind environments that our clients are proud to call home. We've called Center Grove home for more than 40 years. Congrats, Grayson, and as always, go Trojans. Indiana on top by 6, second quarter underway. Kentucky in the road blue uniforms. Indiana in the home whites. Backdoor cut James. Blocked on the way there by Lily Barnes.
Great defensive effort there by Barnes. Tracks the cutter and a nice block.
Lampley sachets her way in with the rest of the Indiana starters. Another offensive rebound for Gilliard and dishes off to Barnes.
It's great to see the offense clicking early on for Indiana. They're doing the simple things, finding the open player for easy looks down low.
Thinking about the three was Taylor King. A mix of subs and starters for Kentucky to start the second quarter. Wilkins started. Can't find it from 3. And another board here for Gilliard. Had an off night last night in the Bluegrass State, making up for it here inside Gamebridge. Nice dish, Barnes and Wren. A quick 4-0 spurt in 58 seconds, and Kentucky wants to chat.
Well, a great run by Indiana out of the original timeout there. Brooklyn Wren getting involved on the offense and defensive side of things. Lily Barnes with a block. Indiana's just clicking on all cylinders right now on the offense and defensive end.
How about Gilliard? 6 points, 4 rebounds here in a quarter and change.
Well, you figured she wasn't going to have a repeat of last night. She's too good of a player. Obviously, we talked about her comfort level here. She probably feels like she owns this court and Gamebridge Fieldhouse after her state championship run this past year, but she's looking very comfortable and looking like she's off to a great start early on.
Tonight's game brought to you by 9-Star Connect. Who knew that 9-Star Connect, a local smart utility, has the fastest internet in the state? In fact, 9-Star can offer speeds up to 10 gig. Try getting that from any other provider. Find out what so many others already know and call 9-Star today. 9-Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet. Who knew? Had a great crowd Wednesday night at Mount Vernon for the final high school game for Indiana's Mr. Basketball, Luke Ertl. Good crowd last night down at Lexington Catholic, but you look at that all-time series history. We'll talk about this more during the boys game tonight, Kristen, but that boys series goes back to the early 1930s, early 1940s. It has never been anywhere except a marquee event here, a venue here in Indiana, whether it was at Hinkle Fieldhouse, Market Square Arena, or now here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Yeah, and great memories at each of those places, especially here in the Hoosier State, here in the Circle City. Memories for every generation. You talk about, the girls all-star team with Judy Warren being the first Miss Basketball in 1976. That being the first time that Kentucky and Indiana all-star girls met as well. going all the way up to Skylar Diggins, Michaela McCuskey, all those guys now to the modern day, but really just built in a deep tradition of basketball for honestly both of these states.
The bench has been a pretty even series. It was split down the middle, 8 wins and 8 wins the last 16 meetings coming in between Indiana and Kentucky. Kentucky victorious last night, 59-57 at the Horn, thanks to the heroics of Brianna Wilkins. She gets a breather here as Italia Green comes on for the first time here in the second quarter.
Good sign for Kentucky early on as you're getting some other scorers involved. We talked about Taylor King, and that's so different from last night where it was James and Wilkins that made up for 80% of the scoring.
Kentucky trying to find something out of the timeout. Shot clock down to 2 and 1, a tie-up. And either way, it'll go to Indiana because the possession arrow goes their way. Haley Webb has entered for the first time tonight here for Kentucky, 11 in blue. Taylor King will be going to Cumberland's. Jaden Koch, you just saw, as we mentioned, going to Southern Indiana for the Screaming Eagles. So a little bit of Indiana flavor for the Kentucky All-Stars outside of James, who will be going to Bloomington to play for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, it's honestly a really good blend of college experiences at the next level. We've highlighted some of the NAIA powerhouses, as well as those D1 and sometimes D2 smaller schools. And we talked about it with Brooker. It's all about what's the right fit for you as a player. To me, yes, going Division I is great and something to be proud of, but it's even more important that you're at a place you feel comfortable at and that you're happy at.
Turnover on the low pass from Lampley. Trying to create something. Here's Madison Young. Aaron pass. Very active Grayson Gilliard. The Indiana Miss basketball almost got her hands on another steal. Jabbing. Attacking King. Young. Lampley poking. Another shot clock low. Estes forces a tough shot. Wren able to get the miss after the missed 3 from Italia Green. Barnes, wide open space, wanted to kick to the corner, and Ernstus, it got deflected, but it stays here with Indiana. Lampley lost it, tried to get it back, saves on the baseline to Barnes. Wren trying to go up and under, nice move, too much on it, and ripped away by Green, and here comes Kentucky. They don't have numbers as Young accelerates, back to the feeder in Green, and a nice finish there for the future Kentucky State product.
A great cut there by Green, just understanding the court. Wren comes back the other way, though, with a flip in herself.
Wren able to answer. She's up to a game-high 8. Wren last night, 7 points, 9 boards, 3 blocks in 24 minutes of work. Gilliard called for the first foul. Both on her and on Indiana here in the quarter. She exits. As Brooke Zartman back in. She'll be playing at Miami University over in Ohio coming up next season.
Zartman last night was really the bright spot for this Indiana All-Star team. Became that main scorer and really the only one that found some success from beyond the arc.
She made half of their 6 threes. Double dribble called against Taylor King. And the turnover starting to mount right now here, Kristen, for Kentucky.
You're exactly right, and that was one thing that Kentucky's head coach told us he was worried about coming into this. He coached this team as the Junior All-Stars last year, and he said, hey, we need to push the tempo, we need to limit turnovers and try to match Indiana physically. And right now, it's the turnovers that are being the Achilles heel.
Wren pops out for a 3. A little bit off target, another board for Green. Indiana's been primarily playing in their man-to-man look. King open for a triple. And Barnes comes in to keep it here for the Hoosiers. Zartman trying to find it from 3. She's 0 of 3 from long range here tonight. Young runs the floor for Kentucky. Doesn't have numbers, doesn't care. And Zartman there for the miss. Telegraph pass, still finds Ernstus, open 3. And off the floor, Green almost had her hands on another carom.
Both teams taking good shots right now, just not able to find the bottom of the net, but you like the transition that's happening.
Young dealing against a taller Lampley, coughs it up. And Wren, the future Kansas Jayhawk, looks to run the floor here for Indiana. Wide open space goes right at James, and Brooklyn Wren leaving her stamp on this one early.
It's a beautiful little hesitation move there by Brooklyn Wren. Just freezes the defender and then powers by her with a good angle to the rim.
First double-figure scorer is a former Silver Creek Dragon. Wide open Williams. She finds wide open spaces on the off-ball cut.
And when you're 6'3" and the tallest player on the roster, you're gonna make that. She was probably surprised how wide open she was under the post.
Barnes along 2. Another board for Green. She's up to 4 off the Kentucky bench. Thinks about taking herself on Barnes. And the silver-footed Barnes up the floor finds Ernstis in step and stride and in for 2.
And how good has Lily Barnes been this quarter? Not only does she have the height and the skill to play a post for you, she can do things like that, distribute, carry the ball up the court. Really a diverse player.
Makes life difficult there for James. Wren cleans it up, her 6th rebound to go with her game-high 10 points. Indiana on a 12-point lead. And now Lampley asking Young to dance. Wren couldn't get Williams on another head fake. Lampley tries her hand at a 3. Zartman couldn't keep it free. Green saves it, and thankfully James is right there for Kentucky. James testing Barnes once again. Unsuccessful, this time off the iron. As Joe Heppenthal, head coach for Indiana, begging his team to run forward. Wren does it, got hit on the arm and finished through contact.
Just a nice pass here by Ernstis, and great court awareness there by Brooklyn Wren. Goes with the pump fake there, sends the defender, creates the contact, and then easily finishes.
The Kansas to Kansas connection. Ernstis from Jennings County, Wren from Silver Creek. And Wren unsuccessful in the free throw attempt, but cleaned up and put in by Lanaya Wills.
She is just such a powerful player, a state runner-up, easily led Lapel to a lot of postseason success, especially this year. And you can see why. She's really just an engine behind any team she's on.
James with a pretty move, catching that almost in midair and guiding it home. But Wren beating Kentucky down the floor once again, and it's the Brooklyn Wren show for Indiana here in the first half.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Rick. Get her out, find her in transition, and let her go to work. Another 2 points for Brooklyn Wren.
She has 10 of Indiana's 16 second quarter points. James on KK Holman, out, in and out for Jalen Jones from deep. Zartman stop and pop triple, and that's what she's known for, shooting it from deep.
She is such a high IQ player, just knowing where the defender is, knowing that she's got the time to get that pick and pop off. Great look by Zartman.
Wilkins wasn't looking for it. And another turnover here for Kentucky. Look at that Zartman 3. Made 122 this senior season up at Warsaw.
She is just automatic. I mean, that was no hesitation, all the confidence in the world. And hey, that's what you want from a 3-point sharpshooter, I'll tell you what.
Bit of confusion. Thought we might have an official's timeout, but because of that early timeout taken by Kentucky, 58 seconds into quarter number 2, that wiped that media timeout away. Vanessa Rossworm off to Zartman. KK Holman trying to tap it free. She did. Kamari Booker. Look at the bully ball move from Booker, but had too much on it.
Great move. Great free ball there. Just couldn't find the finish.
Wilkins. Indiana going back to that trap that led to so many turnovers an evening ago. Holtzapfel couldn't connect, and Rossworm soars in for the miss. Wills turns the corner, accelerates, a little show and go, and finishing with the left.
You cannot give her just an inch of daylight. She will accelerate through that and make it look easy.
Wills with 8 points and 5 rebounds. She and Brooklyn Wren have been forces in the block on the block, excuse me, for Indiana here tonight. Tonelli, shot might have been partially blocked, and it's going back to Indiana. With 101 seconds left in this second quarter, it has been anything but good here for those wearing blue.
I'll tell you what, we felt really tight early on in that first quarter, a little bit of back and forth, both teams getting out in transition. But since then, Kentucky has just gone cold at the rim, and I tell you what, Indiana is just humming on offense right now.
Indiana's outscored Kentucky 21-6 here in the second. Rostrom off the pretty pass into a double team. Tough shot there, challenged by Destiny Scott. Rostrom stays with it, tight quarter three, and she hit it from the bottom of your screen.
Well, she was the leader of that Norwell team that came down here to Gainbridge 3 years in a row, and that's part of it why she is just a non-stop competitor. On the rebound, gets the loose ball, and then just goes ahead and pops it in for three.
So actually, they're going to give it just a 2. Looks like Rostrom's foot was on the line there. Scott trying to do some work here. Played just 2 minutes last night. Goes against Booker, the future Northern Illinois Husky. Scott will get called for the offensive foul. Kamari Booker giving up an inch to Scott, but stood her ground there nice and tall.
Yeah, great defensive work by Booker there. She just stays patient and stays solid, which is what you've got to do against a 6'2" post player.
Bricker on the edge, trying to take that Will's screen. Screen and roll. Will's shot denied by James. Ashlyn James using all 5'7" of her reach to climb that hypothetical ladder.
Yeah, great slide over, and just see the athleticism to avoid the contact. Gets all ball there, and really just a superb rotation over by James.
Booker going to work down low, but then she gets called for the offensive foul. Almost the same thing that Destiny Scott did to her a couple possessions ago. About 17 seconds between game and shot clock, but Kentucky throws it away. Holman did not play last night, out sick down in Kentucky. Booker going to work against Scott and puts it in.
You and I were chatting pregame, Rick, about how awesome it is to see Kamari Booker really getting the spotlight and playing so well. Not that she didn't do that during the high school season, but when you're on a team like the Pike Red Devils, you are a big fish in a big pond, essentially. It's easy to blend in, and it's a very balanced team, so it's nice to see her get some points and get some recognition here.
Third made 3 of the night there for Kentucky, thanks to Emma Holtzapfel. Thrown into traffic there by Bricker, and a whole bunch of folks got to peel themselves off the Gainbridge Fieldhouse court. First on Kentucky's Miss Basketball, Ashlyn James. And we'll see what Indiana has cooked up here with 3.3 seconds remaining before half. Holman, it didn't touch Booker's hand, so still some time to go. Rostrom's gonna have to go quick. Step back 3, good if it goes. It's off target. Good challenge there by Jalen Jones. That takes us to halftime with Indiana on top by 22 points. Quick thoughts on the first half here.
Indiana is looking great, humming on all cylinders, doing a nice job defensively, containing Kentucky. And honestly, we're going to be set up for a great second half.
If your son or daughter is into hoops, you need to know Unranked. Unranked is Indy's first Euro Academy. Real training, real development from the best trainers and coaches. Visit Unranked at unrnkd.com. Unranked, a Nike grassroots basketball program.
From our kitchen to your table, immerse in the authentic Italian flavors. Experience the taste of Michelangelo's, where every meal is a celebration of family and tradition. Michelangelo's. Gather, celebrate, and enjoy the convenience of our drive-thru and takeout options, located on Westfield Road in Noblesville.
If your son or daughter is into hoops, you need to know Unranked. Unranked is Indy's first Euro Academy. Real training, real development from the best trainers and coaches. Visit Unranked at unrnkd.com. Unranked, a Nike grassroots basketball program.
lightning fast internet speeds? Choose Endeavor. Go from slow to whoa. From last to fast. And wait to great. Endeavor Communications is bringing the fastest internet speed in Indiana to your town, so you can download huge files in a flash, stream videos at blazing speeds, and game online faster than you thought possible. Think fast and contact Endeavor Communications today at join.weendeavor.com.
A lot of fun going on outside on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in downtown Indy, outside at Bicentennial Plaza. Tonight's game brought to you by Lori Law. Brady Lori has been serving the citizens of Marion, Johnson, and surrounding counties for over 25 years. If you or someone you know is in criminal trouble or has been injured, make the call to Brady for a consultation. Let Brady put his negotiating skills and courtroom experience to work for you. Call 317-250-7783 or email BradyJLaurie@gmail.com. Brady Laurie, your criminal defense and personal injury trial lawyer. Second quarter was all Indiana. Rick Johnson and Kristen Hazley here with you high atop Gamebridge Fieldhouse, the home of the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers. Indiana outscores Kentucky 25-9 in that second quarter. What stood out most to you about the play from the home team?
Well, I think looking at the game last night, coming into tonight, there are a few adjustments that Indiana could make to really get things into gear, and one of those was getting Grayson Gilliard downhill, which we saw early on. I thought you had to keep feeding Brooke Sartman, and she has had a great first half, knocking down quite a few shots. Third, I thought, hey, let Brooklyn Wren be Brooklyn Wren. Let her loose on the glass, which she has done. A bunch of O-boards with some putback points, and finally just cutting the turnovers. They've done a much better job of taking care of the ball and just being defensively sound this first half.
The junior all-stars from this year's 2026 series being introduced here to the crowd inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Already 3 young ladies have already committed to be playing at Ball State next year. The rest of the group are still undecided, but this is a group that really try to prepare this Indiana senior bunch for today's matchup against Kentucky. And you can see a lot of the names that played last year as Indiana juniors playing this year as Indiana seniors. So the group being honored here right now at halftime. Good chance we'll see a good chunk of them back here wearing the jersey next season.
Absolutely, and in this day and age of the social media and AAU ball and all of that, these girls obviously know each other, probably grew up playing against each other, and so to be able to play on a team together and then represent your state, it's a really cool experience, and to be able to do it junior and senior year is something that these players won't forget very easily.
It's been our privilege here on the ISC Sports Network to bring all of the Indiana All-Star games throughout this week here in the state, here to you folks at home. Talking about how good Pike is. When you got a senior all-star and a junior all-star, you can hear the Pike folks. The Pike people, they love them some Pike Red Devils.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, you got the all-star team packed, you got a sectional championship team. They are flying on the girls' basketball side, but talking about how good the Pike Red Devils are, how good are the Ball State Cardinals going to be? Some of these commits, as well as Lily Barnes, who we saw really kind of take over in that second quarter. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch here in state going forward as well.
What I want to know is, does Brady Sally have a pair of silver shoes like Lily Barnes has for him to wear next season up at Worthing? He's a man of style and fashion. He's fashion forward, so we'll see if we can get Coach Sally in a pair of metallic silver sneakers coming up next year up in Muncie. 22-point lead for Indiana here at the half over Kentucky, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. On the Kentucky Senior All-Star side, we'll come back and take a look back at the first half. That's next here on the ISC Sports Network.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
Thinking about what to do after high school? consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Beautiful downtown Indianapolis. Shots brought to you, headed up by our great director Vince Morales, Buzz Alarkin, David Kahn on graphics, Eric Knecht, Aaron Van Wolde, and Matt Wisner here inside on the controls here inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Indiana led by Brooklyn Wren, who had 14 points to lead the way in that first half, had 10 of them in the second quarter. She and Lanaya Wills, who had 8 points and 5 rebounds, were almost unstoppable at times, particularly in that second quarter against Kentucky.
Yeah, and what's crazy about Brooklyn Wren is she's more of a stretch forward, even though right now she's really dominating more as that post center player. She really is going to bring that diversity to Kansas. She can score inside as well as pull up that mid-range and even do a little bit of what we saw Lily Barnes doing as far as handling the ball up the court. She's very competent in that. Honestly, Kansas is going to get a great player, and we're just seeing the start of it here tonight.
See, Keith Hollins, the head coach at Pike, was one of the coaches for the Futures game that you saw here on the ISC Sports Network earlier this week. You got to be on that call, Kristen. A lot of talent both in the underclassmen ranks, not just here at the junior and senior level.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you look at some of the freshmen and sophomores that were on that Futures team, and just the ability, the athleticism. You know, I think it's pretty obvious that, you know, girls basketball in general is always getting better. It's getting better younger, too, and it makes me happy to see that these girls are also multi-sport athletes. They're not just focusing on basketball. A lot of track players. We're going to see some flag football coming in as well, and really just the well-rounded efforts for some of these underclassmen is going to serve them really well going into the junior and senior years.
Again, 46-24 the lead for Indiana here at the half. Get a look at some of the fans here inside Gamebridge Field. That's a lot of shakes and a lot of ice cream being on this warm
Don't tell me
summer
that.
afternoon. I'm just looking at our row right here.
I'm trying to focus here, Rick.
Right. Well, you got 8 minutes. You can probably make it a shake and come back. Well, shooting competition here from the junior all-stars. We mentioned Brooklyn Wren, 14 points, 8 for Lanaya Wills, 6 of them from Grayson Gilliard, all in that first half for the Indiana All-Stars, 4 for Lola Lampley, 2 for Vanessa Rossworm, 2 apiece for Molly Ernstis and Lily Barnes, 3 for Jocelyn Bricker on a 3-point attempt, 2 points for Kamari Booker, and Lanaya Davis played but did not score in that first half. On the other side for Kentucky, Ashlyn James had 8 points to lead the way for the Kentucky All-Stars. She was the leading scorer in the game last night with 22. A pair of points for Italia Green, a 3-point shot for Emma Holtzoppel. 7 points for Taylor King off the bench. She played really well. She'll be going to Cumberland's in Kentucky. She was held scoreless last night, but came back with 7, right to try to help out the scoring load between Ashlyn James and Brianna Wilkins.
Yeah, it was a great performance by her in that first half, really trying to pick up the pace, give them a little bit of balance on the offensive end, not keep it as predictable. And I thought she did well settling in. You know, it's a tough, obviously, gym to come into and play if you've never played here before. And she did a nice job of just steadying the ship and doing what she does well.
Madison Young and Carrie Ann Williams each had 2 points in that first half as well for Kentucky. Brianna Wilkins, we mentioned, 21 points last night, but she had the game-winning shot to secure the 3rd straight win for Kentucky over Indiana. What have you liked most about Indiana's defense slowing down Wilkins, the future Marshall thundering her?
Yeah, well, you've slowed her down one. We learned last night she's very quick, she's good on the ball, and she can slice and dice through that lane. So early on, I think Indiana did a nice job of just staying patient. Their perimeter defense on her has to be good, because you miss a step there and she is past you going into the lane for a layup. So I think they've done well at being patient with that. They've rotated over when there's been some mismatches and open looks on the post. Overall, just a much better performance defensively. I think they're getting more deflections and quite a few more steals, obviously, as well.
Taking a look at some of the team stats, Indiana much better shooting free throws here today than they were last night. They're 8 of 12 from the stripe for about 67%. They're 2 of 12 from three-point range and 42% from the floor. On the other side for Kentucky, 36% overall. They were just 1 of 4 from the free throw line, and they made 3 of their 9 threes. But those free throw disparity is what did Indiana in last night. We mentioned they were just 55% last night in a 2-point game. Much better there, both makes, attempts, and having that advantage over Kentucky.
Yeah, and the other big part of that is not only the free throws, but the three-point line as well. Indiana shooting it much better here tonight than they did last night. And now Kentucky really kind of struggling to find that three-point ball, which is really what put them on the front foot last night.
Turnovers also an issue as well for Kentucky at different points in that second quarter. It wasn't until the second half last night when Indiana went to that 1-3-1 zone and trap that really forced Kentucky into some fits. We'll take a break, come back, and get you ready for the second half here from Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Indiana's girls senior all-stars leading the Kentucky senior girls 46-24 here on the ISC Sports Network.
It's time to supercharge your internet with ridiculous speeds up to 1 gig from Endeavor. Get ready for high gear downloads that power buffer-free streaming, gaming, sharing, and surfing. And fire up all your devices at once with reliable speeds amplified by the latest Wi-Fi equipment. Get on the fast track to a powerful online experience. Contact Endeavor and supercharge your internet today.
Looking over Bicentennial Plaza just outside Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Let's jump to the first half highlights. And for Indiana, they led 21-15. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead. It took Kentucky a while to get going, but Grayson Gilliard did a lot of dirty work in that first quarter.
Yeah, and she was really important early on, getting those first couple points, really settling the Indiana All-Stars into this game. And from there, the rest of the team caught up, found their looks. Lily Barnes, I thought, was spectacular from behind the arc, as well as moving the ball forward with some court vision. But it's that girl right there that you're going to have to worry about. Ashlyn James and her sidekick, Brianna Wilkins, again, accounted for 80% of Kentucky's scoring last night. Tonight, not the case, and that is where they're struggling to find someone else on that Kentucky roster that can fill up the stat sheet.
Zartman knocking down a triple there, her first and only one of the half. Kentucky was able to answer with a 3-ball of their own right there by Emma Holtzoffel. You saw the Kansas connection. Ernstis up to Brooklyn Wren. Wren with a game-high 14 points in that first half, including 10 in the second quarter. You get a look at the former Silver Creek Dragon right there. Third all-time in scoring at Silver Creek, first in career rebounds and first in blocks. And that's really where she left her imprint last night, was on the rebounding and defensive side of things, but she's really upped her scoring here. She averaged 21 points per game this year for the Dragons.
Yeah, there's not a lot of low scorers on this roster necessarily, but I think they all have different styles. You know, you look at a Lola Lampley, she's going to power through you. She's going to be solid and strong in the post, versus someone like Lanaya Wills that she's going to cut through you. She's going to be agile in the paint. But again, very similar skill sets, just different players with different advantages. And like we mentioned too, Indiana having a much better shooting night, which again, a team that scores this many points, you wouldn't think that they would have 2 off nights back to back, and that's proving to be the case so far tonight.
Not a lot to dance about if you're Ashlyn James in that first half. Your team down by 22, but we saw her really take over that game last night down at Lexington Catholic. We mentioned leading scorer 22 points in 34 minutes. She barely left the floor. She's been getting a little bit more rest here today, but James is getting acclimated here to her future home. She'll be headed about an hour south of here down to Bloomington to play for the Hoosiers at Indiana University coming up just a few short days. And that's the other interesting factor about all this for both the girls and boys all-stars, Kristen, is a lot of these players are going to be going to their future college homes coming up on Monday. They made note about that for Indiana Mr. Basketball, Luke Ertl, who will be going to West Lafayette to start summer classes and working out with the Boilermakers coming up in less than 36 hours.
Yeah, I still get the nervous pit in my stomach when I think about reporting to college for preseason. A lot of fitness, a lot of getting in shape, but yeah, that is nowadays the Division I life, especially for a high D1 program like Purdue. They're going to be expected to be on campus, and he is going to put some work in this summer, I can tell you that much. Coach Painter will be lucky to have Luke Ertl on the squad.
We'll see him in the Indiana All-Stars coming up later this evening at about 7:30. You'll see Lanai Davis having a chat with Indiana head coach Joe Huppenthal, the head coach up at Lake Central. Davis and her future college teammate Kamari Booker, so right there on the left side of your screen, will be going up to Northern Illinois, who will be making more trips to Central Indiana because they're moving to the Horizon League starting this upcoming year. So they'll be coming through and taking on IU Indianapolis to their brand new arena, the James T. Morris Arena, aka the gym. That'll be opened up here at the end of November, about in time for basketball season. So again, not just player movement, but you have all the school movement as well, the new conferences. So folks that might not be coming through their home state as much, for Kamari Booker's family, have to be pretty excited. Cuts down on that hour drive up to Muncie. Now it's probably about 20 minutes or so.
Exactly. And as a player, that's the best. Being able to come home, play at your hometown in front of your family, in front of your friends. Those were always road trips I looked forward to the most in my collegiate career. But you're right. I mean, a lot of these girls have crossed paths before this, and they're going to continue to cross paths into the collegiate game. And I would even say a select few of them we might be watching in this arena playing for a WNBA team one day.
You can tell how relaxed the Indiana All-Stars up by 22. Lily Barnes and Grayson Gilliard trying to figure out which one is taller. They stood back to back. You saw the reaction from Gilliard. She was super pumped. She's listed at 5'11", so Barnes gives up an inch. And then Molly Ernst just walked in, and she's taller than both of them at 6 even. And so, but then you saw
Brooklyn Wren came in.
Brooklyn Wren came in and then stood on top of everybody. So these athletes only together on both teams for a short amount of time, but the bond they make is incredibly fast and quick. And it really is something that lasts not just this week or a couple of weeks, but really is a bond that carries them throughout life.
Yeah, and it's that way in a lot of high school sports these days when you talk about the club or the AAU programs that a lot of these girls will play with in the offseason. But you're right. During the season, they are competitive. They don't want to be friends with you. But starting about that Hoosier Gym All-Star game, you really started to see the chemistry of the senior class come together. And every time we watch them, they just look like they're having the most fun.
Wren blocks the shot from Williams. Starters back on the floor for both teams. Barnes was called for the foul. Barnes underthrew Wren, who had two defenders surrounding her, but it's going to be tapped out of bounds off of Kentucky, who's in the blue, and it stays here with Indiana to open up the third quarter. Indiana looking for another hot start to a quarter. They jumped out to a quick 4-0 spurt to start the second that forced a Kentucky timeout. Lampley off balance, threw it into traffic, and James is there for the steal. Kentucky's missed basketball going to Indiana, going right at Wren, offhand, and it's cleaned up there by Ernstis. Barnes tap forward to Gilliard. Indiana's missed basketball with a chance at an and one.
How good is that by Miss Basketball? Grayson Gilliard knows exactly where she's at on the court as that pass comes in. Boom and boom. Takes the contact, knows exactly where to lay that ball off, and a nice 2 points for her back in this building.
Carrie-Ann Williams, the guilty party. That's her third foul on the tallest player on Kentucky's roster. So we'll see if Indiana can feed it inside to their 6'3" post player in Brooklyn Wren. First miss in the line tonight for Gilliard. And Indiana's opened up their biggest lead of the night at 24. Barnes has drawn the assignment trying to slow down Ashlyn James.
Yeah, they've really guarded her by assignment over the last 2 nights. Everyone kind of getting a chance to try and stop her.
Madison Young on the off-ball kick. King found her. That's the second bucket for Young. Ernstis contested 3. Misses everything. Gilliard saves. And tapped and playing keep away is King. She's got numbers with Wilkins. Barnes, the only defender there. Nice pitch down, and Wilkins gets her first bucket.
Good little dump off there. Great awareness again. Wilkins, one of those main scorers. They want to try and get going here in the second half.
Natalia Green with a crafty steal here for Kentucky. As the folks in the Bluegrass State have started hot here in the third quarter. Green trying to make it a 6-0 run. If she does, she'll have to do so at the free throw line. Second foul on Grayson Gilliard.
Natalia Green has really become a big part of this game this evening, doing the dirty work on the boards. You see here, not afraid to take anyone on, going downhill towards the rim. She has been, I think, one of the dark horses for a great performance tonight.
Tonight's game brought to you by the Ed Martin Automotive Group, who would like to congratulate Lola Lampley of Lawrence Central and KK Holman of Hamilton Southeastern for being Indiana All-Stars. When it comes to your next car, Ed Martin is the only name you need to know. Find out more at edmartin.com. So a 6-0 run here for Kentucky as those in blue go applying some backrow pressure for the first time today. Ashlyn James steals the pass, much like she did last night in the late stages at Lexington Catholic. And then James boogies one home, and it's all Kentucky right now to start quarter number 3. They got the lead down to 16. Arch just tried to go into Wren. James deflected. Wilkins steals, and now the Kentucky defensive pressure is causing fits for Indiana. James, a step in, 2-3, trails the play and buries it. Ashlyn James, the Kentucky Miss Basketball, cooking with gas, and a quick timeout here for Indiana.
Well, if you're Ashlyn James, that's exactly the start to the second half you wanted to see. 2 quick steals. She is flying around on defense and on offense now. Really, she is heating up, and that is concerning for Indiana. You're going to want to try and slow that momentum down as quickly as you can, because once Ashlyn James gets going, she's going to pull in Wilkins with her. Next thing you know, Madison Young's going to be in double digits, and Kentucky's going to start humming on all cylinders here.
11 straight for Kentucky. James has got the last 5 of this spurt. That lead was at 24 points. It is starting to evaporate here quickly. Tonight's game brought to you by NFP. Tonight's appearance of Lanaya Wills is supported by NFP. Lanaya has been one of the cornerstones of Lapel's success, helping lead the Bulldogs to one of the most impressive eras in program history. Her hard work and dedication have earned her the opportunity to continue her basketball career at Butler University next season. NFP is proud to support student athletes like Lanaya, who have invested in their future through commitment, leadership, and excellence both on and off the court. Visit NFP.com for more information. 7:39 left to go here in quarter number 3. 2 changes to the Indiana 5. Off the bench, KK Holman, future Oregon Duck, and Vanessa Rossworm, who will be going to Indiana Wesleyan. They stay out there with the starters, Wren, Lampley, and Gilliard.
And I would not want the job of trying to figure out who your starting 5 are on this roster. It's not a talent thing, it's more what kind of group are you trying to put together, what kind of style are you trying to play in that period of time, because you've got a lot of tools at your disposal here, and right now I like this combination of Barnes in there with Gilliard and Lampley, although Barnes just got subbed out, so Rossworm's coming on in for her now, and similar players. Rossworm's not quite as tall, but has a little bit more speed there than Barnes.
Kennedy Holman runs the point here for Indiana. They try to stop this 11-0 avalanche that's happened in about 2 minutes time here for Kentucky. Gilliard open for a 3 in front of her own bench, and that's much needed there for the Indiana All-Stars.
Massive bucket there for Grayson Gilliard. You need a bucket. That's why they call her Miss Basketball.
King denied by Gilliard, who gets the rebound as well. That gets her up to 6 boards to go with her 11 points. Mid-range, Holman. Wren tapping it to herself and saves it to Holman to boot. Rossworm for 3. Lampley with the O board, going right back, trying to take the extra step against Wilkins. Finds Holman, too short, and Holman came right through the back of Wilkins. That's the first one on KK Holman.
Kentucky's doing a nice job on defense. When Lampley is getting the ball in the post, they are automatically doubling her, really cutting down on her space. You see her pivoting, trying to create some sort of shot. Right now, Kentucky's just doing a nice job limiting her in that post position.
Holtzapfel returns here for Kentucky. Got the deficit down to 16. Remember, they trailed by 24 early on here in this third. Green off the screen, elbow jumper, and Wren with another rebound, her game-leading 7th. Lampley trying to push the issue, taking on 3 different Kentucky players. And she'll draw a shooting foul as Wilkins lost her balance and got whistled for the misstep.
Yeah, good look here at what Lola Lampley can do, just in control, but still so strong, powering through 3 defenders there to get to the foul line.
Stays down for Lola. Her first scoring since the first quarter. She's 3 of 5 from the line here tonight. And now 4 of 6. And she'll exit for Jocelyn Bricker.
Bricker had a great first half shooting the ball, but more than that, it was off the ball movement to get herself open, I think, that made her so confident.
So after the 11 unanswered by Kentucky, it's been 5 straight here for Indiana. James scored 5 of those 11. Wilkins, Holtzapfel, the dead-eye 3-point shooter, off the iron, rebounded by Bricker. Gilliard missed basketball. Rossworm a transition 3. The future college teammate at Indiana Wesleyan. Bricker gives another try, and Rossworm drills it.
The Indiana Wesleyan connection is ticking early on for those two. Great pass, beautiful shot from Rossworm.
See Maya Epps cheering on her Indiana teammates, and Ashlyn James answers with a 3-ball of her own.
Kentucky just refusing to go away, and as long as Ashlyn James is at the reins, I don't think they will that easily.
Another half-court trap here for Kentucky. 3-pointer doesn't go for Bricker, and here comes an opportunity for Kentucky. Wilkins got behind the defense, but the pass was too low, and it goes out of bounds. Lanaya Wills and Kamari Booker make the first appearances here in the third quarter for Indiana. Anna Tonelli in for Kentucky along with T. Yeast.
And one thing that really strikes me about this Indiana All-Star team that you don't necessarily always have on these teams is how many winning teams that these players come from. You talk about, obviously, Center Grove, Lawrence Central won state champions last year, regional champions this year. HSE won their sectional. Warsaw, always good. You know, LaPel and Lanaya Wills, they're just all great players that turned their teams into great teams over the past couple years. And I think that's really the mark of a great all-star.
You're going down the list, and you mentioned it, Christy. Look at all these teams. It's pretty much everybody sectional, regional, semi-state, regional, semi. I mean, it is none of these teams, none of these players for Indiana know anything except going fairly deep into February and early March.
Absolutely. I mean, these girls have spent the last 4 years playing meaningful, you know, postseason basketball, which even though it's at the high school level, that's still experience they can take into their collegiate careers.
19-point lead. Chant is defense from some of the Indiana future boys players sitting in the stands. Wilkins trying to silence them, cannot. Took an awkward bounce off the carom, and Kennedy Holman scoops it up. Holman, bully ball to the rack for 2.
There it is for KK Holman getting in the score sheet. Great run there, and the junior boys are loving it on the other end of the court.
Timeout on the floor with 4.5 left to go here in the third. After the lead got cut down to 11. It's been all Indiana since they lead by 21, trying to snap a 3-game losing skid to the foes from the Bluegrass State.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
Hey, it's Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And each and every week in podcast form, video form from the IC Sports Network, we do Query and Schultz, brought to you by Bailey & Wood, the fine folks south side of Indianapolis, but serving all of central Indiana for the best mortgage rates.
And, of course, we record right here at Chili Water Brewing Tap Room and our friends at Hoagies and Hops, 42nd and Boulevard, right here in Indianapolis. We're talking Colts, we're talking Pacers, we're talking Hoosiers, we're talking Boilers, and we're hanging with you.
We talk the tall and the short of it, right, is what we do.
Yeah, whatever, man. Every Tuesday night, 7:30, right here on the IC Sports Network.
One young lady unable to play for the Indiana All-Stars is right there, Maya Epps, celebrating with Molly Ernstis. It was almost 3 months ago that Maya was in an incredibly serious car accident going to school at Homestead High School. She had 2 broken vertebrae and a cracked rib and a dislocated thumb. The good news is she is expected to make a full recovery. She was T-boned by an SUV. Her vehicle rolled over 3 times and stopped 200 feet away from where she was initially hit at a crosswalk up in the Fort Wayne area. The other interesting note is they found her cell phone after the car accident, not a single scratch on Maya's cell phone, but it's a wonderful sight to see Maya on the bench with her teammates, able to be up, interacting with them. She was in a back brace for a long time, but the best news is that Maya Epps, who's going to Louisville, is expected to make a full recovery after a really, really scary incident almost 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was incredibly scary, especially that first 12, 24 hours. It was in the middle of girls' postseason basketball, and no one really knew how she was at first. And so when Maya came out and her family said she was all right, obviously the whole basketball community breathed a sigh of relief. But what was really encouraging was seeing Louisville coach Jeff Walz come out and recommit how much they wanted Maya Epps on that team and how excited they were for her to heal up and get out on the court with the Cardinals.
James can't answer with a 3 coming out of the media timeout. A wonderful article written about Maya and her recovery and kind of the way that people now know her for things other than basketball, and how her family has talked about, well, it's probably something you're going to have to get used to now because, like you mentioned, Kristen, the whole state was praying and hoping for the best for Maya Epps, and thankfully that's what's going to happen for her.
Yeah, and that's, always one of the downsides of social media, not knowing exactly what the truth is sometimes. Yeah. And that was obviously really scary for a lot of players, a lot of parents, a lot of people in the basketball community.
Wilkins with a nice show and go move. A little 4-0 spurt out of the media timeout for Kentucky. And a chance to make it 5 in a row at the line.
A nice take there. Brianna Wilkins just so good at splitting the defenders. She's very shifty on the ball and really tough to hang with, keep her in front of you and in between the basket.
First trip to the line tonight for Brianna Wilkins. She was 6 of 6 last night in the Kentucky win. She'll be going to Marshall next season. Averaged 17 points a game this year for Louisville Sacred Heart Academy. Kentucky starting to put a little more backcourt pressure here on the Indiana All-Stars. Wren spins the double team, finds the off-cutting, and Wills couldn't get there. And then Wren has her shot blocked by Holtzoppel, all 5'11" of them. Out of bounds and back to Kentucky.
It's great defense there by Kentucky that time. The diving Lanaya Wills can't even find the open rim that time. Just good defense, protecting the paint. That's what they need to do more of to try and pull this lead back a little bit.
Green at the point here for Kentucky. Taylor King wide open for a 3, can't convert. And Wills has it go off of her hands and stays here with Kentucky.
Taylor King had a great first half. We mentioned her chipping in on the offensive end. Another player for Kentucky that I was a little bit surprised we haven't seen more of, especially on the scoring sheet, is Kennedy Lane. She's one of the highest scorers, averages 23 points per game. But she had 0 points last night. So I thought we might see a little bit of her, maybe some offensive firepower, but not quite just yet.
It doesn't even look like Lane made the trip up today. Don't even see her sitting on the bench. Rossrum open in front of her teammates, and Maya Epps the first one to scream in Rossrum's ear after her second made 3 tonight. To a 19-point lead for Indiana. The biggest has been 24. Green fires from three-point range and swishes one home.
Talia Green just continues to have herself a night, doing everything on defense and the boards, and then knocking down those shots once in a while as well.
Errant pass as Rossrum was open for another try from three, but it goes into the scores table. And in comes Lanaya Davis from Marquette Catholic High School here for Indiana. She replaces Bricker. Reverse layup off the rim from Young. Good look there from Green. Wren a rebound away now from a double-double. Go with her game-high 14 points. Rossrum started to catch fire from three, goes inside the lane, deterred there by Jones. James wants to take Davis to the rack from the mid-range off of 1 foot. How do you do, Ashlyn James?
Oh my goodness, she is lighting it up down there. A beautiful take. Just look at the speed and then changing directions, gets her spun out, and the body control to almost just fade away on that while she's moving forward. Just insanely hard to stop.
Fourth foul on Kentucky. Next one by either team will put them in the bonus. More pressure defense here from Kentucky. Rossworm pivoting, trying to find help. Wren wide open, but too much with the left. Davis with a stick back.
Wren that time was almost too wide open on it. Didn't know what to do with herself, but a great follow-up that time, and 2 points stopping the Kentucky run.
Jones has thrown it into the good seats. So crowd continues to grow here. The boys All-Star game coming up at 7:30 between Indiana and Kentucky. An 11-0 run for Kentucky, though, seems like a distant memory here from earlier. I remember happening the first, two minutes, and then since then, Indiana's been able to keep Kentucky at arm's length.
Yeah, they've just had trouble sustaining that level. Obviously Ashlyn James is putting on a show, but she's only one person, and as good as she is, she can't be expected to make every single shot. So really just a lack of consistency keeping that offense humming for Kentucky.
Rossworm through three defenders. Nice head fake and a reverse for Wills.
She is having a great game after, again, not a great game last night, but really proving herself in some of her moves down on the post.
Third Indiana player in double figures, and answering with a three, Jalen Jones for Kentucky. That's her first points tonight.
Yeah, Kentucky's starting to come alive from behind the three-point line. Starting to look like Indiana did in the first half.
Kentucky 7 of 16 from beyond the arc. Pushing foul on Madison Young, the fifth one on Kentucky, and free throws upcoming for Lanaya Davis. Lanaya at 5'7", career leader at Marquette Catholic High School, scored over 2,100 points. Also the career leader in steals. And at 5'7", the third all-time leading rebounder to boot.
Yeah, you don't often see a 5'7" player averaging over 7 rebounds per game, but that's exactly what Lanaya Davis was able to do at Marquette Catholic. And again, just one of those players that made the program around her that much better, led them into some deep postseason runs, and as you mentioned, etched her name into that school record book.
Wren gets a breather. Kamari Booker coming in to spell her. Final 48 seconds of the third quarter. Does Kentucky have one last push to set themselves up for the fourth quarter? Corner three ball, Holtzoppel off target. Good offensive rebound, stays here. Green tries it, but it's short. Zartman turns it over. Jones with a steal, little two-pointer. Off the target again, and Zartman again with another offensive rebound. Shot clock dark. Indiana can hold for the final shot here, the third. Zartman thought about that transition three, finds Rossworm, who scored 6 of her 8 points on a couple of threes here in the third. Almost turned over. Davis playing keep away with 4. Zartman, corner three. And that's how our third quarter comes to a close. Indiana once led by 24 points. It got cut down to 13. They'll take a 16-point lead to the fourth, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak to the Kentucky All-Stars. You're watching the Indiana-Kentucky Girls All-Star Game here on the ISC Sports Network.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Man, if I meet Braden Smith and Pig, he's never going to live that down.
Dude, don't get your hopes up. Hey, Adam, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry, guys, gotta take this. All right, Braden, go easy on me.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
I guess for every hour, there really is Banks and Brower.
Whether it's criminal, family, personal injury, or immigration law.
You can call them anytime. Sorry, got a call.
Sorry.
Looking for the perfect place to celebrate? Look no further. Grindstone on the Monon has it all. Indulge in our exceptional cuisine and handcrafted cocktails. And for that extra touch of magic, enjoy our enchanting outdoor area, complete with a cozy fireplace. Make every occasion special at Grindstone on the Monon, located on Wheeler Road in Westfield. Cheers to great times and great food.
Grace Beatty and Jack Gare.
We're going to look at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, the home of the Indiana Fever and Indiana Pacers, and the home to the 2026 Indiana-Kentucky Boys and Girls All-Star Game. Tonight's game brought to you by Lawrence Township Schools, and Lawrence Township Schools, excellence is more than a goal. It is the standard. From our NAEYC accredited early learning centers to our award-winning high schools, students experience future-focused learning through STEM, dual language education, career pathways, athletics, and performing arts. With high-quality preschool, full-day kindergarten, and opportunities for every learner to thrive, Lawrence Township prepares students for college, careers, and life. Enrollment for pre-K through grade 12 is now open. Learn more at ltschools.org and discover why Lawrence Township is the district of destination. And congrats to Lola Lampley for being named an Indiana All-Star in 2026. Lampley looks around for a foul. She got tangled up with Wilkins as our fourth quarter underway here from downtown Indy. Starters back on the floor here for the Indiana All-Stars. Jones's three is good, and that's her second one here in the second half.
I tell you what, Indiana needs to tighten it up. Kentucky making shots and taking better care of the ball. They had 13 turnovers in the first half. They are only at 3 for this second half so far.
Holtzapfel called for the foul. Kentucky's now made 8 of their 19 threes at a 42% clip. Indiana just 5 of 22 from range. Wren continuing to add to her game-high point total of 15. She is one of 3 Indiana All-Stars in double figures. Can't convert on that free throw right there. James showing off with a behind-the-back move. She was called for a travel doing that move last night in her home state. She'll go to the line here for 2 free throws.
Man, watching her for the past 2 nights, she is going to be fun to watch down at IU for Coach Terry Morin. I think she's going to be able to fit in there pretty well, maybe get even some early minutes in the rotation, really show what she can do. It's always, I'll say, interesting to see how that jump is made for point guards and some prolific scorers like Ashlyn James.
She's our first 20-point scorer on the night, making both free throws here, and that gets Kentucky back to within 12, the closest they've been since the start of this second half. Lampley gets hammered on the way to the rack by Holtzapfel. That's her second foul, making her third. Lampley has scored just 2 points here in the second half. See Amy Shearer, one of the assistant coaches, head coach at Columbia City High School, try to encourage The Indiana All-Stars here in this fourth quarter as they try to snap a 3-game losing streak to Kentucky.
Yeah, Coach Amy Scherer, really just a well-known name in Columbia City. Retired this year after 16 seasons. Really just a name of basketball in that city and town, and honored to have her on the bench this evening.
Wren gets called for the foul, number 2 on her. Each team with 2 fouls here in the first 53 seconds of this fourth quarter. Last night, a lot of fouls in the first half, and then a lot of Kentucky fouls in about the third quarter. Indiana was unable to capitalize on free throws last night. And Ashlyn James and Kentucky have another thrilling win in their back pocket here. Wren denied an open look for King, and now Wren will run the break, but James steps right in and picks her pocket. Wren goes diving on the floor, and the tallest player for Indiana at 6'3". Try to keep it here with her squad. Possession error will send it back to Kentucky, however.
Ashlyn James that time just waiting for that pass to come and then jumps in front of it. Just always lurking on the defensive end there. Able to even save that after she gets a deflection that looks like it's going to go out of bounds.
KK Holman back on here for Indiana. Did not play last night in Lexington. Out with an illness. Has got just 2 points here for the former Hamilton Southeastern Royal standout. 13-point hole for Kentucky. They led briefly by 1 back in the first quarter, but that's been it for them to be in the driver's seat here in downtown Indy. King against the taller Wren. Shot recycled. Coming in to get that one is Gilliard. Wren runs the break here for Indiana. Almost a turnover there. Lampley dives on the floor. Green spills all over. Then Wilkins gets caught in the torture chamber. Held ball, possession arrow back here to Indiana. There was a lot on that whole possession.
50-50 balls running around on the floor, and you see Lola Lampley getting down, Brooklyn Wren getting down. They are ready to try and get the W on this one.
Lob to Lampley in the paint. Bully ball against King. Couldn't convert with the offhand. And another tie-up, and that possession arrow is getting a lot of work here in the early part of the fourth quarter.
Sure is. I'd like to see the WNBA jump ball where they just throw it up and have them jump in the free throw line. Just Brooklyn Wren every time.
Still remains a 13-point hole for Kentucky. Won on this floor last year, 106-103 in double overtime. Green trying to shake away from Barnes. Wilkins, who had the game-winning basket last night, has just 2 points today. It stays that way. And another rebound for Wren. That'll get her the double-double at 10 boards. Holman against James, forcing it up and in.
How about that finish? Going at full speed there. Does a nice job of finding the angle. Takes it right at the hoop, and a great finish there from Holman.
Still plenty of time for Kentucky to make a big run here. We saw them go 11-0 to start in the beginning of that third quarter in a two-minute blitz. King going baseline. Lampley cuts her off. Wilkins step back 2, swish. Wilkins has been quiet, now up to 7 points. And a timeout on the floor. And Kentucky takes the timeout. We will take it with them. 71-58, the Indiana lead. 7:13 left to go here in the fourth quarter. You're watching it on the ISC Sports Network.
And support of the Indiana Kentucky All-Star Series.
Seth Goodeman lays out and makes an amazing catch.
Everyone out of the park, fans on your feet, make some noise. Wave your flags in the air.
And again, the alley catch with the defensive stand.
Big throw into space. Bigger bid from Nick Betch. My goodness. Huge.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is
Wrestler! Whoa!
Today's game brought to you by McAllister. As Indiana and Michigan's leading construction equipment partner, McAllister delivers the power, service, and support to keep your job moving. From equipment rentals and sales to parts and expert service, McAllister powers progress from the job site to the rail yard. McAllister, one team built to win, powered by trust. 13-point lead for Indiana. Still some time to work here for Kentucky. Remember, they won on a last-second buzzer beater last night by Brianna Wilkins. She just got her first 2 points of this second half. And that forced the Kentucky timeout as they've got it down to 13 once again.
And Kentucky just refusing to go away. Seems like they step up that post defense anytime it feels like Indiana's about to get an easy one. And on the other end, they have just turned the shooting on this second half. Now shooting 42% from behind the arc. Indiana dropped down to 22% from three.
Big disparity in rebounding. Indiana has won the rebounding battle tonight 50-28, including 19-4 on the offensive glass. Ren on the block was dynamic in that second quarter. Cross-court find. Gilliard's three just a little bit off the mark.
It's a good find there. Gilliard open in the corner, just can't quite find the bottom of the net.
King in transition, cut off and blocked by Holman. James open for a dead-on three. That's her first miss from distance, and Wren gobbles up another triple, or another rebound, excuse me. 2-on-1, Gilliard trying to bait James and goes right at her and puts it home.
So good there by the Indiana Miss Basketball. Just patient with it, waits to see what the defender is going to do. Knows she's got numbers. Great finish there by Gilliard.
James trying to take it right at Barnes and floats in another two. 22 tonight for Ashlyn James to lead the way. Lampley corner three. It'll be picked up by Wilkins.
Starting to see, I think, a little bit of tired legs here down the stretch in the fourth quarter.
Kentucky does have the deeper bench. They have had a tight rotation here both last night and tonight. T. Yeast, first time we've seen her here in the fourth quarter. King, off-ball cut, swatted away by Gilliard.
Everyone's getting a block tonight. Grayson Gilliard puts one on the stat sheet, joining Brooklyn Wren and Lily Barnes as well. Just great defensive rotation, and she was playing volleyball there for a second, Rick.
Was a volleyball player and also a track athlete during her time at both Munster and Center Grove high schools. Just 4 to shoot. Wilkins doesn't see to know that. Heaves it up over Lampley, and that's off the backboard, and that's the third shot clock violation against Kentucky here tonight. Their first here in the second half.
Both these states very similar in terms of basketball history and some of the state tournament. What I find interesting, though, is the difference in terms of defense from, good pass there from Willis, but in terms of, varsity years. So Ashlyn James has played 6 years of varsity basketball. In Kentucky, you can do that. She actually started at Eminence in Indiana, ended up at Jeffersontown, then Manual, then Assumption, where she just is graduating from now and heading to Indiana. So 6 years of playing varsity basketball has panned out pretty well for her.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Leading scorer last night. Kentucky had the leading scorer in Zakiya Johnson, who had an Indiana Girls All-Star Game record 34 points in that double overtime win on this floor a year ago. And an offensive foul as Wilkins put her shoulder right through Kennedy Holman. And that's number 3 on last night's hero for Kentucky.
Now Wilkins just struggling a bit tonight on the offensive end. Ooh, how about the defense there from Holman? Just does a nice job of holding her spot there and sells the contact there on the charge.
Holman trails the play, drew the charge, and buries a triple. And Maya Epps and Molly Ernst has liked that one a lot.
Making up for lost time from last night's game.
18-point lead, 6 off the highest it's been all night for the Indiana All-Stars. Holman making another defensive play. Able to swat it away, picked up by Wren, 3-on-1. Fakes the pass and blocked by James. And Wren was on the baseline when she tried to save it. Ashlyn James trying to do everything she can in this final 4:30 to will Kentucky to the finish line.
Literally everything. She is making the block. She has had multiple assists, some pull-up jumpers that I don't even know how she made. She's literally doing everything in her power to try and keep Kentucky attached here.
She's on pace right now to be the 4th straight Kentucky player to lead this game in scoring after Zakiya Jones led scoring both games last year. Another steal, Wren on the leak out. Nobody home for Kentucky. Too much on it, but Gilliard is there to clean up. Both teams have surpassed their point totals from last night as Kentucky takes the timeout. As Gilliard up to 15 points on the night. Tonight's game brought to you by Lori Law. Brady Lori has been serving the citizens of Marion, Johnson, and surrounding counties for over 25 years. If you or someone you know is in criminal trouble or has been injured, make the call to Brady for a consultation. Let Brady put his negotiating skills and court experience to work for you. Call 317-250-7783 or email bradyjlaurie@gmail.com. Brady Laurie, your criminal defense and personal injury trial lawyer. 20-point lead here for Indiana. Again, they led by 24 to start the third quarter. That's been their biggest 3 of the night. He's going to look at downtown Indy. Shots brought to you by our great crew, headed up by our director, Vince Morales. Replay today, Buzz Larkin. Graphics from David Kahn. And camera operators, Eric Connect, Aaron Van Woolde, and Matt Wisner. Here bringing you the girls' Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game here from the beautiful Gamebridge Fieldhouse. As the junior All-Stars trying to start the wave. And that's what drew the eyes of some of the Indiana coaching staff, because it's happening behind the opposite corner where their huddle currently is going on. Again, 3 in double figures tonight for Indiana. 15 for Wren, 15 for Gilliard. And you saw the 5 on the floor there for Indiana posing for a photo as they all get on the floor together.
That was fantastic.
Wills, Holman, Zartman, Barnes, and Wren all will go their separate ways after today. But again, through playing deep into the postseason, AAU basketball, this entire group of 2026 Indiana All-Stars have come together as a group, and you can see those bonds, like you mentioned, started back there at that historic gym in Knightstown, the theatrical home of the Hickory Huskers, and it's come here to the big stage of Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Wills a steal, trying to beat Holtzoppel to the other end, and that's exactly what she does.
Lanaya Wills again getting it done with the steal and the putback. And you're exactly right, Rick. Whether they realize it or not, this is the last time that these ladies will represent Indiana on their jerseys. And really, it's just a special moment for all of them. Every year, this rivalry writes a new chapter, and Zartman's trying to get herself in there as well.
Second triple of the night for Brooke. And as Indiana opening up a 25-point lead, their biggest here of the night so far, with 3 and change remaining in our final stanza. Holtzoppel's pass. Barnes on the intercept as the defensive pressure has been turned up a couple of notches. Zartman from deeper this time hits off the back iron. Green slowing it down as we dip below 3 minutes left to go. Haley Webb on for the first time here in the second half for Kentucky. She'll be going to Thomas More next year. Young trying to clear space. Barnes went for the block, and either her or Wills going to be whistled for the foul here for the Indiana All-Stars. Barnes out, along with Holman and Wren. As that should be the exit for all 3 of those young ladies. Wren exits with that double-double, 15 and 11.
Great turnaround Well, actually, Brooklyn Wren played pretty well last night as well. Had 9 rebounds, 5 blocks, I believe, and was one of the bright spots for Indiana in that game where they struggled. But tonight just built on that, picked up the defensive intensity, really found her rhythm offensively, ran the court with her teammates well, and just made it look easy tonight.
Zartman head fake, got James to bite. Rebound down low, Wills knocked out of her mitts. As Young will start the break. Numbers coming back defensively for Indiana, and it looked like Davis had that steal clean, picking the pocket from behind, but our officials say otherwise.
Yeah. Oh. I'm not sure if she made contact sneaking in there, but once she had that hand around, I could have seen that as a jump ball for sure.
So the left hand might have got on the wrist initially, but that right hand is all leather, ripping it clean. Some more free throw work here for Madison Young, who will be going to Illinois State. South Oldham product, scored over 2,000 points, had over 1,100 rebounds during her high school career. She's got 8 points here on the night. Vanessa Rossworm now in for Indiana, along with Booker and Bricker. And Davis and Zartman. Bricker slashes. Miss cleaned up by Jaden Koch. Nice spin from Young, and she continues to stay hot. She scored 6 in a row here for Kentucky, and she's just the second Kentucky player in double digits.
Yeah, another one of those dark horse players that might not jump off the stat sheet, but again, one of Kentucky's most complete offensive players, and you're starting to see that as she gets more opportunities down the stretch of this game.
Rossworm, the 4th player in double figures. So Indiana's going to snap their 3-game losing skid to their rivals from Kentucky. Zartman on the block there for Indiana as we hit the final minute of play here for the Indiana-Kentucky Girls All-Star Game here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
You and I were lucky enough to chat with Coach Robertson earlier this week, and he was hoping we'd have another one of those double overtime thrillers. Had a thriller down in Lexington last night. Tonight, though, Indiana has looked much more comfortable, much more in control, really meshing well offensively and defensively. Really just a full performance from this Indiana All-Star team.
As Ashlyn James exits, she'll finish with a game-high 22 points. Just not enough help, though, tonight for the Kentucky Miss Basketball. Will be going to Indiana coming up next season. Webb on the run. And knocked out of bounds by Davis, so keep it here with Kentucky. Again, special thanks to our great crew headed up by our director, Vince Morales. Replay, Buzz Alarkin. Graphics, David Kahn. Camera operators all around Gainbridge Fieldhouse as Tonelli buries the triple. Eric Kinneck, Aaron Van Wolde, and Matt Wisner. Tough one for Indiana to take last night, but they scored 30 more points than they did an evening ago and are 20 seconds away from splitting the 2026 Indiana-Kentucky series. Rossworm for 3.
Ooh. Drains one, and again, you knew this team was too full of talent to kind of go blanked 2 nights in a row. Tonight, the shooting came hot, and it came often from many different players on this Indiana All-Star team.
Rossworm, one of 4 in double figures. Tough fadeaway there for Young. She finishes with a dozen. For the final score, Indiana comes away with a 90-71 win, and the first one off the bench is Maya Epps, and that just shows the type of connection these young ladies have. As we talked about earlier, Epps in that really scary car accident almost 3 months ago. Good to see her on the floor, on the sideline with her teammates, but she's been the biggest cheerleader both vocally and emotionally here throughout this entire All-Star week.
Yeah, and what a great role model for just some of her classmates. You know, how difficult must it be for Maya Epps to sit on that bench and watch this opportunity with her not being able to play? But look at her. She is supporting her team. She's the most pumped person out there. She's having the most fun. making the most of this experience and her situation right now. It'll be exciting to watch her continue on into Louisville and make a great comeback.
Tonight's Blue Collar Player of the Game is presented by Boilermakers Local 374, and it's fitting for the young lady who had a double-double tonight. Silver Creek's Brooklyn Wren, 15 points and 11 boards for the future Kansas Jayhawk.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brooklyn Wren started off hot, as you see some of her finishes down low early on, and she just did not slow down. On the offensive end, she was running the court in transition, drawing the contact, completing those three-point plays. And on defense, you said it, Greg, Rick, the rebounds and the box outs, the blocks, all of that rim protection, and excellent performance from Brooklyn Wren.
Become a Union Boilermaker and be on your way to a great career. Find out more when you log on to local374.org. And Brooklyn Wren, I'm glad that everybody else agrees with our thoughts on who should be the MVP tonight. The Hoosier Shooting Academy MVP, Brooklyn Wren. And rightfully so, the MVP tonight, 15 points and 11 boards. And she'll be going to Lawrence, Kansas to join the Jayhawk program coming up next season. She'll be taking Molly Ernstis, her Indiana All-Star teammate, with her out to the land of KU. Rock Chalk Jayhawk KU for Brooklyn Wren. Molly Ernstis as Indiana takes the game today inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse, 90-71. Today's game has been brought to you by Banks & Brower. For every hour, there's Banks & Brower. Brady Laurie, your criminal defense and personal injury trial lawyer. Duke Holmes, many promise, we deliver. Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know. The Fountain Room, voted one of America's 50 most beautiful restaurants. Lawrence Township Schools. Learn more about Lawrence Excellence at ltschools.org. At 9-Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet. Who knew? And Unranked Hoops, Indy's first Euro-style basketball academy. Check out unrnkd.com. A team picture. Lots to celebrate today for the Indiana All-Stars. The future bright as well for the Hoosier State as they defeat Kentucky today by a final of 90-71. For Kristen Hazley and the rest of our ISC Sports Network crew, I'm Rick Johnston saying so long from downtown Indianapolis and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. The boys Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Game comes up at 7:30 right back here on the ISC Sports Network.